Hey, Melissa, this is Dino from Dynamic Internet Marketing. Real quick, just want to shoot a quick video for you, show you how we can get you more phone calls and leads online. Roy told us to get in touch with you, so we'll get started here. The first thing you're going to want to do is, if you want to make this video bigger, you can click in the bottom right-hand corner of this actual video itself, and it'll blow up for you to full screen. But yeah, I want to walk you through a couple things that immediately pop out to us that are kind of holding you back from people finding you online. So the first thing we're going to look at is, let's take a look here on your website. And what we're going to just show you is if we go over to Google and let's say somebody was looking for Justice Bail Bonds, they had already heard about you. There's a couple things we see. First off, your competitors here at the top are all bidding on your actual brand name. So they're basically trying to steal your business away from you here. So you always want to bid in AdWords for your own brand name. So that's the first thing that pops out. Second thing, though, is that Yelp actually ranks higher than you on Google. So you can see that your Yelp listing shows up here, and your website shows up second. So we don't want people clicking into Yelp, because if they click into Yelp, right, they see their other competitors that probably have more reviews than you, and they might bounce over to one of your competitors real quickly. So this has a lot to do with your SEO for your website. If you're not ranking for your own brand name, then that's problem number one. Let's talk about why you're not showing up first for your own brand name and that Yelp is. Well, the first thing here, if we just look at how your website is listed, and this is called a title tag, you can see it has the word home here. So, your website was just not designed and is not SEO friendly. You don't need the word home here. You just want to have your brand name, Justice Bail Bonds. And then also, there's no information about you specifically serving Banning, California. So those are the very, very first things that kind of pop up and are visible to us. Now let's take a look at your website. Now I just clicked on your website listing. You can see it's taking a couple seconds to load. So your website speed is not that great. It's even slower on mobile. And we'll talk about your mobile web experience here in a second, because that's completely different. If we land on your website here, it's kind of difficult to find your phone number. It's up here in the corner, a little bit smaller. It should be much larger. It should be just bold, impossible to miss. We see it's here in the center of the web page, but again, that's because we've been looking at your web page for a while. This text doesn't really pop out at us, and so it's not easy to quickly spot. The other thing is, if we scroll down your home page, there's no information about where you're actually listed. So nothing on this page talks about you being local to Banning, California. People really like to know that you're right there locally, especially right by the jailhouse. There's not a map for people to confirm where your actual address is, so they're going to be skeptical whether your business actually exists, is a real business and not just like a reseller. So those are some immediate things that pop out to us. Let's even go over to your locations page, and we can click on like bail agent locations, and we'll see that this page here is actually rather bare. So it's better that you have a map here, but there's just not much information about you guys' services. Can you guys offer discounts, or what are your rates, or how are you better than your competition? This map is showing downtown Banning, but on this map there's not an icon that shows where your business is listed. So when you embed a map like this, you want it to actually show here's where we're listed right here on Ramsey Street, but none of that actually exists there. So that's just another thing that pops out to us, is the missing information. As well as this map could be done a little bit better. So let's talk about mobile for a second. If you pull up your website on your mobile phone, you'll notice some other issues kind of come to mind. And I'm just looking at this on my phone right now. But the first thing that I notice is that, again, your phone number is difficult to spot and see. So if somebody's on makes it to your website on their mobile phone, they're probably getting ready or would like to call you right away. This would be an easy lead to close. But again, the phone number is difficult to find, and it's actually in this kind of ugly red text as you scroll down the page. It's kind of formatted weird. You'll see that it's on multiple lines, so it just doesn't look good. So that's going to take away from people clicking to call you, is that they can't find your phone number, and otherwise it looks like the website's not done professionally. So those are some couple things that are going to hold you back from phone calls. Now let's talk about why you're not ranking for any keywords. Well, there's a couple things. First off, your website's not secure. So you're probably familiar with when you go to a website at the top in the browser, it should say secure next to it. Because your website's not secure, Google immediately lowers your rankings. Also, people might not feel confident in giving you a call, again, because it's not secure. So that's the first thing. Second thing is your website's very slow. Third thing is that, again, you're not talking specifically to serving Banning, California. So that's a completely different thing. People want to know that you're local. But then on top of that, it's really important that your website is listed across the web completely congruently. So let me show you this here. It's going to go back to Google here, and we are going to see that your actual address is listed incorrectly throughout the web. So here on Google, your address is showing 422 East Ramsey Street. But if we scroll down a little bit, on MapQuest, it's listed at 425 East Ramsey Street. And so all these different directories, you need to have your address needs to be synchronistic. If it's not synchronistic, potential customers don't know which actual location is correct. And the way that works with Google is that if Google can't figure out which one is your actual address, they're not going to list you at the top because you're basically confusing Google as well. So we can look at a quick report here of how you're listed online. And basically of the top 40 websites, you're not showing up in 32 of them. So 32 of the top 40 websites online, you're not listed in there. You have to be listed in these websites. And these websites are things like Judy's Book, Brown Book, City Squares, Foursquare, Yellow Pages, Merchant Circle. All of these, your business information is not listed. And when you think about somebody using their mobile phone, how they like to talk to Siri and say, find me a bail bondsman that's local, the way Siri gets that information, the way these GPS navigational systems like OnStar get their information is you have to be registered in their database. So your